So the hits in the Hunter Biden saga just keep on coming. This time, a newly uncovered email now shining a light on the political motivations behind a letter signed by former intelligence officials. That email is revealing how they wanted to give Joe Biden a talking point, literal talking point, during a 2016 presidential debate by discrediting the infamous laptop story concerning his son, Hunter. Lucas Tomlinson is live in Washington with much more on this. Lucas?
Good morning, Aisha. Well, many signers of the letter admit this was all about politics. They wanted Joe Biden in the White House, not Donald Trump. The Republican chairman of the House Oversight Committee wants to learn more.
We want to know exactly what they used to determine their decision to have such a big influence on the election. And what we've seen from the email is they didn't look into anything. These people know the Bidens are corrupt, but their hatred for Donald Trump far outweighs anything that would matter with respect to national security.
Now, some of the intel officials who signed the letter say they did so because they say President Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, was palling around with the Ukrainian lawmaker at the time, Andrei Derskach, who the Treasury Department says is a longtime Russian agent and was later sanctioned for interfering in the 2020 elections, and the Ukrainian government later sanctioned him for spreading Russian propaganda. Now, our colleague Ben Hall asked the Secretary of State to explain how this letter was released ahead of the presidential election in October 2020.
I want to ask about the letter that was written concerning Hunter Biden's laptop that said it was, Russian disinformation. Can you explain what your role was in that and if you incentivized it?
Well, first, one of the great benefits of this job is that I don't do politics and don't engage in it. But with regard to that letter, I didn't wasn't my idea. Didn't ask for it. Didn't solicit it.
Now, some who signed the letter say they're receiving death threats today. Aisha?
Okay, Lucas Tomlinson live in Washington for us. Thank you,
That
Lucas.
is something else, but there's more. This is pretty interesting in Axios today, showing that this headline, that inside Hunter Biden's clash with the White House, that's always juicy. So apparently this is what they say. The tensions led Hunter, without involving the president's top aides, to hire prominent lawyer Abby Lowell in December as part of a plan to take a more combative approach than the White House and Hunter's previous lawyer had taken. So I think there was frustration on the Hunter side that they were not able to push back hard enough. But now the White House counsel is saying, is this really going to help us? And I guess that remains to be seen. What do they say in D.C.?
Well, I think they all do think that it's been very combative. I think the takeaway from Ben Hall's interview, if I can just mention this, is the carefully crafted answer in talking about his current position. Well, no one's asking about your current position. We're asking about your former position. Well, tell us, if it wasn't you, who was it? Give us a name.
Yeah. And I think what happened, the media might not follow up, but because Republicans won the House and they can have hearings and they can call for oversight, that works. Okay, let's get to this as well. President Biden, well, he's been keeping a light schedule in the week after his re-election announcement. A few things on the docket, but no campaign events or trips out of state. Let's bring in Fox News contributor Kellyanne Conway. She's also guest hosting Hannity tonight, which is going to be must-see TV. Thanks for being here. So, I mean, these campaigns everybody runs a different campaign, but there usually is a little bit of a formula. They have all these people out there saying President Biden is so with it. He's so agile. He's got all this stuff, but you don't actually see him doing that. And I don't know if that's enough.
I think the 2024 campaign for Joe Biden will come down to believing what they say or believing what you see. And whether it's what you see at the border, at the gas pump, in Ukraine, in your communities, what you see all across the globe, and what you see from this president. I'm surprised they've sidelined him the way they have. We all know it was Biden in the basement in 2020, but it actually wasn't that different in 2022. Biden and even Harris, the vice president, weren't invited to a lot of these swing districts and swing states. Oh, the president's coming to Wisconsin. Would you like to campaign with him? I wash my hair on Tuesdays, not available. So when your name is on the ballot, when you're Biden and Harris, you have to go out and campaign. I'm really struck, Dana, at how they had this 13-minute video. They have this 13-minute, I'm sorry, they have this 3-minute announcement video. Kamala Harris is mentioned. She's featured 13 times. She never speaks. They won't let her speak. It's symbolism over substance. And I believe this is the plan. We've already seen the plan. It's going to be putting Obama out there, Bill Clinton, other popular figures in the Democratic Party so that they go out and they campaign. Joe Biden's delegating, if not abdicating, his presidential reelection campaign to people who are more popular, seen as more energetic. You know the polls. A majority of Democrats don't want him to run. I think it's a mistake for Biden to not debate in the Democratic primary. I think it's a mistake for them not to take somebody like Robert Kennedy Jr. or even Marianne Williamson seriously, because Biden needs every single vote he got last time. Last point on this. The Hunter Biden scandalabra, still unfolding, did not really resonate in 2020 because they hid it. And these people who signed that letter still have major contracts on other networks. They still get major speaking fees, et cetera. They've admitted they lied. It was for political purposes. I think this will be an issue on the debate stage in 2024. And whoever the nominee is, but especially if it's Donald Trump and whoever the moderators are, will say, you know, President Biden, you lied on a debate stage just like this 4 years ago when you simply said that the laptop didn't mean anything. You never discussed business with your son. This is a Hunter Biden and a Joe Biden scandal, and it will be relevant.
Actually, let me bring this up real quick before you jump in here. So over the past couple of weeks, well, even for a little while, the Democrats have been saying that they think the Supreme Court is illegitimate. Then ProPublica, which is a media organization, nonprofit, they say that Clarence Thomas, in their reporting, had done all these inappropriate, unethical things with his finances. He had a relationship with Harlan Crow, who was a good friend of him. Harlan Crow is very wealthy, that they vacationed together, et cetera. And there's a long list of those. James Taranto of the Wall Street Journal has gone through point by point, saying, look, we can say all of these things have context or either are not true or taken way out of whack. But the Washington Post this morning then has this, if you could pull it up for it, it says, judicial activist directed fees to Clarence Thomas' wife and urged no mention of Ginny Thomas, and that Leonard Leo told you, Republican pollster Kellyanne Conway, to build the nonprofit, then use the money to pay the spouse of Supreme Court Justice, but not put her name in it. I'll give you a chance to respond to that, because I've seen other networks this morning really covering this as if it's big, huge breaking news.
I'm sure.
What do you say?
Well, clearly I didn't watch any of that, but this is 2011, 2012, according to the Washington Post. Leonard Leo is quoted in that article. I think it's an important quote. He says, I've known the Thomases, they've been my friends since 1990, and I'm very mindful of how vicious and gossipy people can be, so I always try to protect their privacy and their safety. Viciousness from 10 years ago, 11 years ago, has turned into violence now, where people are outside of Supreme Court justices' homes trying to assassinate Justice Kavanaugh while his wife and daughters are sleeping in that home. So these people will stop at nothing. They want Clarence Thomas to resign so Joe Biden, of all people, can replace him with one of his own. In this case, Ginny Thomas was one of my contractors, and she had worked at the Heritage Foundation. She was part of the grassroots, is part of the grassroots. She had worked in the Reagan administration. This is a serious person who for years had worked in public policy. And at the polling company, we did public opinion research and data analytics. We had no business before the court.
But how do you feel about being dragged into this? I mean, your name is now a part of this.
You're no stranger to that.
They love it. I'm not a stranger to that. They love to put my name in a headline. Either Kellyanne Conway or Kellyanne Conway's husband seems to be their favorite headlines. But the fact is this, that the Washington Post was looking for me all day yesterday. I want to look them in the eye and tell them I'm aware that you contacted a lot of my former employees, and you suggested to one of them that you go to her home and look at her old emails. That is so beyond the pale, but that's who they are. That's who they are. I just want to say something the Daily Wire reported just a few days ago. This is incredibly significant. Justice Sonia Sotomayor had not one but 2 book contracts with both Random House and Penguin. She has gotten over $3 million, it is publicly reported. It's been her main source of income. There were 2 different matters before the Supreme Court. She did not recuse herself from either one. So everybody should check out that Daily Wire report. That's a direct nexus.
Do you think that the goal from on the left is to just to delegitimize the court because they don't like the fact that there's a conservative court right now making decisions that they don't like the Dobbs one?
They want to delegitimize the conservatives on the court. You'll remember in Amy Coney Barrett's confirmation hearing, she showed up with no notes, no net, had gotten 7 kids to school that morning. And the senators who had her as a guest there were rude to her. Their job under the Constitution is to advise and consent the president's nominees, not to search and destroy.
Right.
And you'll recall Senator Feinstein saying to her, it's clear that your dogma lives loudly in you.
Yeah.
And since then, people have published the name and address of her church, her kids' schools. They will stop at nothing to try to harass, embarrass, and force to resign, if not worse, these conservative justices. But be careful when you're delegitimizing institutions. It hurts us all. The Supreme Court I think has the most constraints, is the most transparent. Why aren't we banning stock trades from Congress?
Good question.
They have the most constraints. But I want people to check out that Sonia Sotomayor article in Daily Wire. It's pretty devastating. Direct Nexus receiving millions and millions of dollars from 2 publishing houses and not recusing yourself when that business is before the court.
Kellyanne Conway, great. Have a good time tonight when you host Hannity.
I'm learning from the best.
Also, just remember, smile.
Smile and listen.
All right, Aisha.
Thanks, Kellyanne.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.